So, as a business owner, as an HR person, a lot of times I'm really thinking about where part-time employees fit into our business. Find a balance that not only works for you, but works for them and their lifestyle. A lot of times we have employees that have a lot of other commitments outside of work, especially around their families and their home. But they still want to contribute in a meaningful way and they want to have meaningful work that's consistent and steady. And so this is where I really believe that part-time employees can have a value add in your business. Now, part-time employees, these are not a compliance loophole. So there's some traps that'll end up costing you if you don't do things the right way, and it'll hurt your budget. You'll be out of compliance with the law. You'll have the DOL come in and knock in, and those are things that none of us want. So just because somebody is working for us part-time doesn't mean that they're an independent contractor. You still control the how, the when, and the where they work. Why? Because they're an employee. There's some states, here's looking at you, California, that require benefits for part-time employees once they hit a certain number of hours worked per week. And that's not necessarily like they hit this one time in 1 week and all of a sudden they're eligible for benefits. The calculation looks back over a period of time, trends, it's a whole thing. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. Federal law may not have a requirement, but a lot of states do. Does your business have over 50 employees? If so, you have to track the average hours worked to also ensure compliance with the Affordable Care Act. When we're looking at those types of things, the Affordable Care Act does an FTE, full-time equivalent calculation. So this is where some of these nuances get really important. Again, not something you need to take action on immediately, but something to always be thinking about and have in the back of your mind. That trigger could be, I think there's something with hours worked, but part-time employees, benefits, and then start doing your research or asking for the experts. Non-exempt, that's usually what your hourly part-time employees are. They're non-exempt, so that means they're eligible for overtime. It doesn't matter that they're part-time. Overtime kicks in, at least federally, when somebody works over 40 hours in a work week, not a pay period, a work week. And in some states, again, looking at you, California, if they work more than 8 hours in a day. Your handbook also really needs to clearly spell out how benefits, PTO, and scheduling also apply to part-time staff. If you are inconsistent with this, you really risk a lot of legal exposure. So one time we had a client that decided that they were going to classify a 32-hour per week employee as a contractor. Audit triggered by unemployment claim later, you betcha. $18,000 in back pay, penalties, and interest. One line in their handbook and 10 minutes with an HR partner would have stopped and prevented this entire mess. Do you want my part-time compliance trap checklist? Drop part-time below and I'll send it to you. No spam, no pitch, just some real tools from somebody who's done this at scale.